In 1989, the Berlin Wall, a landmark that divided Germany for over 28 years, fell, marking a significant turning point in modern history. In addition to symbolizing the reunification of East and West Germany, the fall of the Berlin Wall significantly impacted Europe's political, economic, and social landscape, marking the end of the Cold War. It demonstrated how a single event can have profound and far-reaching impacts on the course of global history. To grasp the significance of this event, let's look back at the Second World War. After World War II, Germany was split into two separate states, West and East Germany, representing the divide between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union. Tensions escalated due to ideological differences and the competition for power and global influence. By 1961, around 2.5 million East Germans had fled to the West, causing significant instability. To address this imminent problem, on August 13 of that year, East German authorities, backed by Soviet troops, began building a physical barrier along the East-West Berlin border, initially with barbed wire and barricades, eventually evolving into a formidable concrete structure lined with guard towers, barbed wire, and a death strip patrolled by armed guards. This construction marked a stark split between communist Eastern Europe and the democratic capitalist West, reinforcing Soviet dominance in the region. For 2 decades following the construction of the Berlin Wall, the world saw numerous fluctuations and tensions between the East and the West, including significant events such as the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, the Vietnam War between 1955 and 1975, and a series of arms races that escalated global stakes. In the 1970s, marked by the Helsinki Accords, tensions were temporarily easing. However, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 triggered a renewal of Cold War hostilities. By the time Mikhail Gorbachev came into power in 1985, the Soviet Union faced immense economic stagnation and struggled to maintain its sphere of influence. Recognizing the need for fundamental change, Gorbachev introduced new policy, glasnost and perestroika, to revitalize the Soviet Union politically and economically. These reforms, aimed at increasing transparency and decentralizing the economy, inadvertently weakened the Soviet grip on Eastern Europe, sparkling a ripple effect throughout its satellite states, particularly in East Germany, where the Berlin Wall had become an oppressive symbol of barriers to economic prosperity and personal freedom. This growing unrest within East Germany echoed the wider Soviet sphere's discontent. In Poland, the rise of Solidarity in 1980, the first independent labor union in a Soviet bloc country, challenged the socialist regime's authority, emboldened by a nationwide movement against rising food prices and political oppression. Meanwhile, Hungary, pursuing its own reformist path, began dismantling its border fortifications in May 1989, offering East Germans a gateway to the West and signaling a retreat from Soviet dominance. By the late 1980s, the desire for change in East Germany was palpable. The Leipzig demonstrations, starting in 1989, grew from a few hundred to hundreds of thousands of peaceful protesters, all united in their quest for freedom and democratic rights. The Western media's coverage of these nonviolent protests raised global attention, increasing pressure on the GDR's authoritarian government. Amidst this backdrop of protest and potential upheaval, West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl became a vocal proponent for reunification. His landmark 10-point program, introduced in November 1989, laid out a step-by-step plan for achieving this goal. Kohl's advocacy for the 2+4 Treaty, which was signed in September 1990, further facilitated the process, seeking to harmonize East and West Germany's policies, and ultimately to heal the divide that had scarred Germany for nearly 3 decades. The historic moment unfolded on November 9, 1989, when a press conference led by East German official Günter Schabowski inadvertently sparked a movement which would change the face of Europe. A misunderstanding regarding travel policy was broadcast, suggesting the immediate opening of the Berlin Wall. This announcement, although premature, was irreversible. As word spread, elated citizens from both East and West Germany gathered at the wall, their collective joy broadcasting a message of hope to the world. They celebrated through the night, symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter in German history. This night of celebration swiftly transformed into concrete political milestones that steered East and West Germany onto a path of reunification. Landmark events such as the democratic elections in East Germany and the introduction of a common currency laid the foundations for a united Germany, cementing the legacy of that night. While the reunification of Germany, formally achieved on October 3, 1990, was a celebrated milestone, it also marked the onset of challenging transitions, particularly for the citizens of the former East Germany. The economic disparities were vast. The West's flourishing market economy starkly contrasted with the East's outdated industrial base. A massive financial aid initiative was launched to support the East's integration into the capitalist system, a move that required billions in investment. Social reforms targeted key areas such as employment and housing, striving to uplift the East to Western standards of living. The complexities of reunification extended beyond economics, as social and cultural integration posed its own set of challenges. The Aussie and Westie labels reflected deeper cultural divides and prejudices that had to be carefully navigated through education, dialogue, and exchange. Some voices from the period painted a less optimistic view of this transformation. Peter Schwartz, a socialist critic, noted, "Following the fall of the wall, the lives of East Germans changed dramatically, without any consultation or democratic participation of the people." This view suggests that the swift privatization of East German assets, handled by the Treuhandanstalten, led to a significant loss of jobs, with some 95% of privatized companies acquired by owners from outside East Germany. The stark result was that within 3 years, 71% of all employees had either lost or changed their jobs, highlighting the depth of economic restructuring that followed the political upheaval. This alternate perspective emphasizes the complexity of reunification. While it was an undeniable step towards unity and the end of a painful division, the process also introduced new challenges and uncertainties for many. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent reunification of Germany reveals the multifaceted nature of such historical transformations, where the hopes for democracy and freedom were met with the realities of economic and social upheaval. Outside of Germany, the fall of the Berlin Wall also set off a domino effect across and beyond Eastern Europe, signaling the collapse of the Cold War tensions. The Soviet Union, which had heavily relied on its satellite states for economic and political support, began to falter as nations like Czechoslovakia and Romania asserted their independence. In November 1989, the Velvet Revolution led to the peaceful overthrow of Soviet rule in Czechoslovakia. 1 month later, Romania followed suit through widespread protests and eventual revolution. This wave of independence severely undermined the already weakened Soviet economy, hastening its decline. The dissolution of the Warsaw Pact in July 1991 further illustrated a global shift towards ending decades-long military standoffs and fostering new partnerships. Subsequently, the Soviet Union's disintegration in December 1991 catalyzed the emergence of independent nations across Eastern Europe and Central Asia. These new states embarked on paths towards democracy and market economies. This transition was a key factor in the expansion of both the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. For instance, the EU's welcoming of Eastern European countries into its membership underscored a commitment to democracy and economic integration, while NATO's inclusion of former Warsaw Pact countries in the mid-1990s demonstrated a move towards collective security and cooperation beyond old divides. The post-Cold War era, often termed the New World Order, was characterized by efforts towards disarmament, such as the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, signed in July 1991. These efforts underscored a global commitment to reducing the nuclear threat and fostering peace. Today, the wall's collapse remains a potent reminder that unity and shared determination can transcend barriers. The spirit of cooperation that emerged following the fall has inspired a global commitment to diplomacy and peaceful resolution of conflicts. This legacy is evident in the international community's collaborative approach to challenges such as climate change, space exploration, terrorism, and nuclear proliferation, showcasing the enduring impact of collective action for a better world. The fall of the Berlin Wall stands out as a significant turning point in history. President Reagan's clarion call to tear down this wall remains symbolic of the era's transformative spirit. It not only reshaped Germany, but also set the stage for a new era of global cooperation, serving as a beacon for movements advocating democracy and human rights across the world. In the words of NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg at the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, "We are honored to host these pieces of the Berlin Wall here at the entrance to the NATO headquarters. They serve as a symbol of hope and a solemn reminder to all who pass by to never take freedom and democracy for granted. We must defend them every day, and we must continue to stand united. Let us be inspired by the Berlin Wall's fall to stand united against division and for the triumph of freedom, democracy, and solidarity."